All right, welcome back, everyone. Happy 2024 or Happy New Year. It was an incredible first couple months for the portfolios that I'm managing. There's the Savvy Trader portfolios. The Falcon 9 portfolio, as I call it, was up 62% at one point. Up more something in the 40s at the moment, I think, after this pullback. But the main portfolios, the YouTube portfolios that I track, painstakingly in Excel. The flagship one that I report on typically is the Growth Plus, and that one ended the year up 47.1%. Of course, we only had 2 months of market activity to sort of use for for that return. I wish we started back here at the beginning of 2023, or more specifically in the late December there when things were really selling off. At the time I was buying, on that sell-off, I was buying Tesla, Meta, and Nvidia, and was fortunate enough to benefit. I think I might even bought others, but of the majors. But I was fortunate enough to benefit off the first 50-60% there, and then I unfortunately sold too early, so I had to find other ways to trade throughout the rest of the year. But the initial gains were really easy. This year, you know, who knows what comes next year, but what I do think is that, to me, this looks quite constructive. See, if you go back, we clearly broke out past the previous high. It wasn't just a single bar that spiked up or something. It was multiple days above the highs. This is the Qs we're looking at, by the way, so the NASDAQ essentially. Yeah, so I mean, it looks constructive. I had talked about, that breakout and then the need for a pullback and a test of this resistance zone, and we're getting it pretty early here, maybe a little bit earlier than I would have thought. I think I drew arrows that sort of look like up to about here and then back down or so. But regardless, I mean, this is needed. We need to spend some time testing this level, and then, when we start to make a move higher next time, that's the one that really matters. We're going to see, is it going to start holding above here and building a base and moving higher? And if so, then, we're in really good shape. But Twitter has become very bearish in just a couple days here. With 3 days sell-off, everyone's talking about the market doing a double top, and yeah, look, the recession is having its effect, and blah blah blah, right? So I'm not ascribing to that, certainly not yet by any means. I think this looks constructive to me still. No issues for me here. Yeah, nice to see it break above, and now let's see what happens, right? So jumping over to maybe Tesla, I'm just going to point this out because I think it's pretty interesting. There's a previous highs back in 21. We had a breakout of this wedge, this bullish flag. Here, I'll just draw it quickly just so you can sort of see it a bit better. And so, it's breaking. I don't like that. Let's just delete that. But you get the idea. Bullish flag. And so it's broken out. That looked really constructive. It's come back, and now it's testing this spot where these two trend lines have converged. I mean, it just looks like the perfect pullback if it holds here. I would definitely be a buyer here. I think this is a really nice risk-reward, position. I think, we could quite easily start building off of here, just like the NASDAQ. Makes sense that it comes back and tests. So we'll see what happens, but it looks constructive to me. Not at all concerned about this pullback in Tesla. Again, not yet. So yeah, just thought I'd point that out. Elsewhere, EOS Energy Enterprises has been getting absolutely clobbered lately. For, at this point, no particularly good reason. It's just completely out of favor. I was buying personally today below the dollar mark here, and I have no problem doing that. Actually, I also bought in the Savvy Trader portfolios as well. But yeah, to me, this is just a no-brainer down here. Look at how quickly it popped up off the bottom once sentiment changed. And then, of course, the reason it dropped right back is they did an equity issue and issued a whole pile of new shares, diluting folks, which is not a popular move, especially at the price they did it, which included warrants. So essentially, people were getting shares for $1, even up there. I believe it was $1.50 plus warrants, if I recall. So, I don't mind buying at $1 here. It's sort of the same deal people were getting up there or similar. So, But yeah, I mean, their Arco line 1 is looking like it's coming along well. I mean, certainly no issues have been communicated. Arco, from what we've heard, seems to be pretty optimistic about getting it done. And yeah, I think it's an exciting time ahead, and yet the stock price is just decimated. So it's a case where the fundamentals to me just don't line up with what the share price is doing. So yeah, here to participate, and I don't really have a problem with it. Certainly not for the next 6 months. I mean, they're well funded for the next 6 months or so, and they've got a lot of exciting things happening. So no reason not to be a holder here at $1. So before we move on to the recent trades, I've done a couple just really minor stuff, frankly, at the moment. But if you do want, a heads up on what's going on that front, I'm a day or two late here on YouTube, of course, and also just the thesis behind all these positions and these core holdings. I'm going to be, posting those on Substack. I want to, dig in and give my followers, a good view of why I hold these things and why I have conviction on things that are going down as we speak. Watching it right there. Yeah, so do join Substack if you're interested. I think it's $6 or $7 a month or something. Makes it worth my while to actually write. And I obviously know my thesis in my head, and I've done plenty of research, but to put it down on paper, I think is helpful for everybody, and I'd certainly like the feedback as well. So yeah, do check out Substack. I'll also be posting here now in probably 1 day, maybe 2 days, depending on how it wraps up. I will be posting my 2024 outlook, and I have a lot of interesting things to say in there. It's a bit long form, but you can jump through the different thematics that I'm speaking about. And I think there's one that's in particular, I call it this sort of special thematic, and I think it's very interesting, and certainly no one is talking about it that I know of. So yeah, so some interesting stuff in there for sure. You'll find the link, I guess, below in the description. I'd love to have you there, and I look forward to connecting with new subscribers. Okay, let's go back to Enovix. There's not a whole lot to say here. Technically speaking, it looks kind of ugly, frankly. Looks like it could go lower. Not much of a support line there. Just an area that it's bounced off of a number of times and provided as a bit of a wedge there at one point. Yeah, so not much to say technically, but this I've made. There was a little, I don't know, stock competition type thing that I think Wolf posted on Twitter, and I've made this my 2024 stock pick for the year. I'm pretty happy with that, and we'll see how that one plays out. Just an incredible management team running Enovix. They're really impressive. The TAM is huge, the technology's great. It's difficult, they're in manufacturing, and manufacturing is not easy. It's complicated, it's expensive. Margins aren't as high as software, obviously, but I think the opportunity is just massive for them. They have some very interesting prospective customers, and I think, as one of the management team said, insatiable demand. Right, so it's really a matter of them executing and then starting to get their product out there in the world, and I'm excited for that. It's been as low as, going back a bit further, $7-8. Here we are at 11. And yet so much progress has been made. So I think 2024 is probably the year for this company in a lot of ways. So yeah, very happy to be a holder here. Don't like it technically. It looks like garbage. But it's probably due for a bounce too here shortly. So I'll actually be adding, I think, myself personally at this point, especially if we get down into here. So yeah, my 2024 pick, and we can revisit this one later, I guess. All right, guys, let's get into the trades I've done in the last couple days, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, everyone, as I have mentioned elsewhere, I think on Substack and probably on YouTube as well, I'm looking to sell SunPower. They issued a going concern warning a while ago, which is concerning to say the least. They do have a bunch of debt, and that's not a huge surprise. And the reason we own this and STEM is that they are under pressure. Sales have declined significantly with interest rates rising. Margins aren't great to start with, so it was a turnaround play, and it's turned around a bit, as you can see by the P&L. But the fact that a going them as a going concern is on the table here. I just don't see the benefit of holding a decent sized position. It's 2.9%, in part because of the growth there in the P&L. But I'd rather just roll that to something that I can be far more comfortable with, which, as you probably know by now, is Tesla, because it's a relatively small position here, and I want to have more conviction in it. Well, I do. That conviction is growing by the day as Tesla continues to deliver, and the technology just keeps to really impress. So yeah, it's an easy move here today. It's just sell SunPower, take the full 290, and we're gonna roll it right into Tesla. I like the price today at 248. It's not too bad. So yeah, easy trade. Sell SunPower. Maybe I'll just flash the live prices. 35. 35, I guess. And then our SunPower sell will be at 522. So we'll sell that at 522. Okay, so those are all the trades. So we can wrap up for today. Look forward to seeing you next time. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, makes a huge difference. Please comment too if you have comments. Love to chat with you there. And then in Substack, I'll have long form of a lot of this stuff. I want to get into discussing in more detail our high conviction positions for sure. It's a little bit long form for YouTube. A lot of people just don't stick around to the end of a video like this one. And frankly, we didn't even go deep on anything. So yeah, so if you do find value in this content, I'd love to have you at Substack, and I can go a lot deeper there for sure, without YouTube penalizing me with their algorithm. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting 24 for sure. First handful of days here are certainly looking interesting and challenging, and we'll have a lot to navigate going forward. So, okay, thanks again, everyone. Until next time.